Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Jumi Olabanji. I'm your mistress of ceremonies in studio in Washington, D.C. at NBC4. Welcome to the 14th annual Red Dress event hosted by the 14 DMV chapters of the Links Incorporated. I am a proud member of the Reston, Virginia chapter, one of the host chapters this evening, and I had such a great time last year. They brought me back for a second virtual go-around. Well, today is National Wear Red Day, and I love seeing all the beautiful red as I look out across the virtual stage this evening. Tonight, we are going red for heart health and to raise awareness against the #1 killer among women, heart disease, a disease that also disproportionately affects African-American women. The theme this year is A Heart Healthy You in 2022. Now, we've all been through so much over the past 2 years, and now our health and our self-care must be our priority. Tonight, you are going to hear about how you can make that all happen and so much more. So stay right here, especially for those of you who have been to Red Dress before. You know what I'm talking about. We have amazing speakers, panelists, and lots of prizes to give away this evening. So make sure you like and share our virtual event, and maybe have a watch party with your friends and family. Everyone needs to hear what's being shared tonight. Next, we have a special guest who needs no introduction. Here with us tonight is none other than the award-winning Roland Martin, host and managing editor of #Roland Martin Unfiltered. It's the first daily online show in history focused on news and analysis of politics, entertainment, sports, and culture from the African-American perspective. Let's give it up for Mr. Roland Martin.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks a bunch. Certainly appreciate that. Hey, folks, Roland Martin here, host of Roland Martin Unfiltered, and CEO of the Black Star Network. I tell you, the issue of heart disease, it is still the #1 killer, of course, in the United States, and we must be doing all that we can to ensure that we actually change that, especially when it comes to African Americans. And so I certainly appreciate what the rest of Virginia Links are doing to address this issue, of course, with your initiative tonight, your Red Dress, Heart Healthy You in 2022. You know, COVID has greatly impacted us as well, and it has an impact also on our heart. In fact, I've actually hosted, we've probably done more than 150 segments on Roland Martin Unfiltered on issue of COVID, and specifically talking about this issue. In fact, we had a cardiologist on the show on Wednesday talking about this very thing. And so we must do all that we can in our community, talking to our aunts and uncles, our brothers and sisters, our cousins, our church members, you name it, fraternity brothers and sisters, because if we don't talk to them about it, then who will? Who better than to encourage one another than our fellow brother and sister? And so we certainly appreciate this event taking place. Hate the fact that we're virtual, but it's about being protective of our folks because we're still operating in this international pandemic. And so you've got some great conversations, some great panelists, Dr. Corey Hebert from New Orleans and others who I know quite well as well. And so again, I certainly hope that you enjoyed the program. And again, hopefully, and by 2023, we'll be able to see each other in person. All right, Jimmy, back to you.
Thank you so much, Roland. We will catch up with you later tonight on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now, the DMV Links host chapters are proud to have MELE, the most awarded new face care brand of 2021, as our Platinum Plus sponsor again this year. As you know, Red Dress is about healthcare, and a big part of healthcare is self-care. Now, this evening, you have a chance to win MELE product giveaways by putting your best face forward. So go ahead and pull out your phone, go to MELERedDressPhoto.com, and take a photo dressed in your red tonight, or maybe upload a favorite photo. Winners will be announced at the end of this event. And of course, be sure to tag anything on social media with our hashtags MELE Skincare and DMV Links Red Dress for your chance to win. Now remember, winners announced at the end of the event, so you have to stay tuned until the very end. And if you don't win any of the special prizes, don't worry, MELE will have a retail sale starting Sunday, February 6th, and you can find the details right now in the chat. Now I hear we're going to give a special giveaway for the first 3 people who said yes to the Red Dress and were the first to register for the event. So hold on, let me get my phone. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, congratulations to the winners. We have Pamela Jenkins of Jackson, Mississippi, Andrea Nicole Smith, and Orita Essien, hope I said that right, of Virginia. Congratulations to all of you. You each win a gift basket with a signed copy of Executive Strategy Coach, Mariko Bennett's book, The Blueprint to Manifesting Your Dreams, plus gifts from Chef Sin, 1273 Organic Seasonings, and a $25 gift card. So congratulations to all of you ladies who are tuned in today and were the first to register. Also, you can find our live chat right now for instructions on how to redeem your winnings this evening. All right, so let's give a heartwarming welcome to Suzanne Walker, the president of the Arlington, Virginia Links chapter, the chair chapter of tonight's Red Dress event, followed by Michelle Bailey, the Red Dress event chair, national PR chair for the Links Incorporated, and also a member of the Arlington, Virginia Links chapter.
Greetings. On behalf of all of the DMV chapters of the Links Incorporated, we welcome each of you, our distinguished guests, to the 14th annual Red Dress event, hosted virtually here on Facebook Live. Thank you to our wonderful MC, Jumi Olabanji, who joins us once again to lead us through the program this evening. We hope that the information you receive during the program will inspire you to focus on a heart-healthy you in 2022. Please share the link to the program with your family and friends, and use the chat feature to communicate with each other. Our wish is that you will hear something or learn something that might save your life or the life of someone you love. We also thank our generous donors, sponsors, and national partners, for without them, the evening would not be possible. In addition to our corporate sponsors, the Arlington, Virginia chapter is delighted to have Links sponsoring chapters with us today. I am pleased to introduce my sister Link partners. Jeannie Collins Carr, Capital City, D.C. LaTanya Talley, Greater Rappahannock, Virginia. Amber Talbert, Loudoun County, Virginia. Beverly Ann Fields, Metropolitan, D.C. Dana B. Stebbins, Mount Rose, Maryland. Ann Everett, Patuxent River, Maryland. Jeanette Conrad Ellis, Potomac, Virginia. Shirley Peterson Barton, Prince George's County, Maryland. Regina Milteira Rock, Reston, Virginia. Desiree Hughes, Silver Spring, Maryland. Jacqueline Jackie Gray, Southern Maryland Chain. Anita Cook Wells, Washington, D.C. And Oretha Bridgewater Sims, Willow Oak, Maryland. As we are entering our third year with the current global health crisis, the Links Incorporated is on a mission now more than ever to deliver transformational heart, health, wellness, and self-care information to the community to change lives for the better. Our panel of experts will cover a range of health topics for a heart-healthy you in 2022. Thanks again for being here and enjoy the program. I'm now pleased to introduce our fabulous event chair, Michelle Bailey.
Well, good evening and welcome again to the 14th annual DMV Links Red Dress. I am Michelle Bailey, chairwoman, and I am humbled and proud to serve in this capacity for the 4th consecutive year. Now listen, you all being here, your attendance alone means that you already are making great strides toward a heart-healthy you in 2022. So listen, let's just take some time to give yourselves a warm round of applause, okay? Now listen, we put our heart and soul into this event because this event literally changes lives. So if you would indulge me for just a moment, I just want to take some time to especially thank those who are responsible for tonight. Our national partner is the American Heart Association with the Links Incorporated, and the Greater Washington Region affiliate feels just like family. So I just want to give a special shout out to them. Thank you all for being here. I know you all are here in the live. I see folks. And so I thank you all for your continued support year after year after year of Red Dress. Now our signature Platinum Plus sponsors, Northrop Grumman. We are so delighted to have you all support us this year in this capacity. And we are looking forward to partnering with you all on even more transformational programs around heart and human services. Thank you again. Now for the second consecutive year, MELE Skincare has been our signature Platinum Plus sponsor. They have incredible products and they have an amazing purpose. They are not only changing the face of skincare, but they're changing the face of skincare education for everyone. And so for that, kudos to you. And again, a special thank you for your continued partnership. Now, as Julie mentioned, we want you to put your best face forward as well. So go out and put your face on the photo filter and hashtag and do all of that wonderful stuff that you've been instructed to do. You see all the instructions on the chat. So go out there. We want to see all the beautiful melanin-rich diverse faces on social. I'm getting ready to do mine as soon as I finish this. But anyway, again, it's all about supporting businesses that support us and the betterment of our community. And so with that, also, please support, check out the special product retail deal that MELE has that will be starting on Sunday, February the 6th. And you'll see all of that information in the chat. So you don't want to miss out, because even if you're not one of the MELE skincare winners, you can also win big by supporting that product deal that they have going on starting on Sunday. Now, for all of our other wonderful partners and support and sponsors, we have our platinum sponsors, Walgreens and Black Health Matters. Now, Black Health Matters is also live streaming this event tonight as well. So thank you, Black Health Matters. Now, to our gold sponsors, we have Anova Heart and Vascular. Anova Heart and Vascular continues to be with us year after year after year. So thank you for your ongoing, sustaining support of Red Dress. We have S&P Global, we have JetDoc, we have Monarch Magazine, and we also have the Northern Virginia Community Partners, the Chapman Fund, who also are with us year after year. So again, thank you for your continuing support. We've got a stellar lineup for you tonight. Subject matter experts, speakers, the panelists, they are bar none. So you all don't want to leave, please, again, share, like, all of that good stuff, because we want to make sure that everyone is able to enjoy, learn, become aware of all of this great information that we have to share tonight. We have some amazing media partners who get you here, who bring you all in. So we have from our television and partners, our radio partners, and our print partners. Thank you for helping us to bring in thousands of people to share in this amazing night. We could not do this without all the hands that have been involved, our amazing planning committee, our incredible planning committee. So please check out our e-program journal. The link is in the chat. Check out our e-program journal, which has all of the names of all of the wonderful Links members within the DMV, the 14 DMV Links chapters, who have played an integral part in making tonight possible. Now, Hip Rockstar Productions, the award-winning Hip Rockstar Productions, there's no way we could have done any of this without you. You all have given the bling, all of the wonderful things that you all see on screen to help to keep the audience engaged and to be excited about being here. That's because of them. So thank you, Hip Rockstar Productions, for everything that you do. We have had a wonderful time working with you for the second consecutive year. I'm looking forward to working with you for many years to come. Now, the reason that you all stay engaged throughout, for the most part, you all love these prizes. We have thousands upon thousands of dollars of prizes that we are giving away. Some we've already given away. We're going to be giving away more throughout the night. So again, keep it locked. Do not leave. So we want to thank those businesses, individuals that have supported us. We've got a business directory where you can see all of these businesses that have supported Red Dress with these wonderful and amazing gifts and giveaways that we have in store throughout the night. Some will be announced live and some will be announced. We have some contests going on the chat. Some of them maybe even going on right now. But at any rate, we want to, again, shout out. We're all about small businesses, Black-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and you will see an array of that in our electronic program book. And so shout out to all of the businesses and individuals who have supported us with these, again, spectacular prizes. Now, a special shout out goes to Cultura Med. Cultura Med has given us an excess of about $5,000 worth of products and services for tonight. So Dr. Kelly Bolden, shout out to you, Dr. Kelly Bolden, plastic surgeon extraordinaire, my Spelman sister and my Links sister in my Links chapter, Arlington, Virginia. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do for Red Dress year after year after year. Now, I'm gonna turn it back over to Jumi because she's got some special prizes to give to some of our first-time attendees. Welcome, first-time attendees, all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We know this may be your first time here, but it won't be your last. So welcome again. Now, listen, don't leave. Lock it in right here. DMV Links Red Dress. You know what to do. Like, share, all that good stuff. Again, get on the MELE, the photo filter, put your best face forward, all that great stuff. You know what to do because it's all about what? A heart healthy. You, and me too. In 2022, that's what it's all about. All right, enjoy. Thank you. Okay, back to you, Jumi.
Thank you so much, ladies. You know, I like what you said. It's all about a heart healthy you and a heart healthy me as well in 2022. Well, now it's time to acknowledge some of our first timers. We want to say congratulations to some of our first time guests, Stacy Carr of Louisville, Kentucky, and Jacqueline Jenkins of New York City, as well as Sandra Adams of Henderson, Tennessee. Congratulations. Welcome to you all. You'll be receiving a beauty kit this evening from Mishko Beauty Luxe Nail Lacquer, Mamacita's Body Butter, and also a copy of the book Benita Renee Jenkins 2, Boxing Rings and Cages, that is signed by the author this evening who's joining us, Larissa Bates. Congratulations, ladies, and thank you for tuning in as well. You can email dmvlinksreddress@gmail.com to claim your prizes this evening. Now I would like to welcome to our virtual stage our incredible leader, Kimberly Jeffries Leonard, the 17th National President of the Links Incorporated and the Links Foundation Incorporated. She is also from the Arlington, Virginia Links chapter. Great to see you as always, Madam President.
Thank you, Jumi. It's so great to be seen and it's so great to be here. Good evening and happy Red Dress Day. While I cannot see all of you, I know you all are dressed in your finest red attire to mark this occasion. I am honored to join you tonight for this 14th annual DMV Red Dress event. I bring greetings, love, and support from our 16,000 members from around the globe. This event, this program continues to be a signature program, a signature series of workshops to focus on heart health and total wellness, which is mind, body, and soul. And so I hope that you all will indulge me just a little bit of tonight and allow me to take my time, as this is my last Red Dress event as your national president. I want to begin by thanking a few of those who I know have worked so hard to bring this event to life. Our National Director of Health and Human Services, Dr. Nicolette Martin. Our National Chair and National Walk for Healthy Living, our Heartlink's Chair, Mary Clark. Our National Walk for Healthy Living Co-Chair, Rosalind Epps, Dr. Rosalind Epps. Our National Public Relations Chair and DMV 14th Annual Red Dress Chair, Michelle Bailey. The president of my chapter, the Arlington, Virginia chapter, and the chair chapter of this event, Suzanne Walker. To the 14 sponsoring chapters of the DMV cluster, you are proof that when we work together, we can expand the reach of our service exponentially. Thank you all for continuing to touch lives across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Your work is truly transforming communities, fulfilling our purpose, and we are the better for it. As a point of privilege, I just want to say how much this event means to me. I had a hand in conceiving this idea 14 years ago with our first ever red dress event in 2008 as a part of the Arlington, Virginia chapter, my home chapter. At that time, we only had 50 people. Today, the scope and reach far exceeds that, impacting thousands of community members using a platform that educates, informs, and empowers women on heart health issues. The growth and impact truly brings my heart joy. I'd like to thank Roland Martin for joining us as our special guest this evening. We are so thankful that our brothers are joining us in this event to promote healthy living and healthy lifestyles within our community. I have been given a few minutes, so we can move on to the heart of the matter. But let me acknowledge a few more who've joined us tonight. Our sponsors and executives that are here representing the powerful brands, I want to thank you. Our Platinum Plus signature sponsor, MELE Skincare, Jermaine Williams is tonight's speaker and panelist. From Northrop Grumman, Francine Lane. Our Platinum sponsors, Walgreens, Carlos Cubawa, a connecting link. Black Health Matters, our national partner, Rosalind Daniels of the Bergen County, New Jersey chapter. Our gold sponsors, Inova Heart and Vascular Institute, Dr. Kelly Epps Anderson of the Potomac, Virginia chapter. S&P Global, Attorney Janet Baker of the Capital City, DC chapter. The Community Foundation for Northern Virginia, the Chapman Fund, Laverne Chapman of the Arlington, Virginia chapter. Fort Lincoln Realty, Michelle Hagans of the Capital City, DC chapter. JetDoc, Tommy and Nicole Duncan, Beverly Hills, West California chapter. Monarch Magazine, CEO Will Walters. Our national partner, the American Heart Association, is here in full force. Dr. Reginald Robinson, who is on tonight's panel. Sula Antonio, Roxana Hoveda, Jessica Moyes. Our national corporate sponsor, the CEO of AARP, has joined us tonight. Our link sister, Joanne Jenkins from the Reston, Virginia chapter. Another national partner is here, March of Dimes, Stacy Stewart, who is CEO of March of Dimes and is in the Metropolitan DC chapter. We have executive council members who've joined us, our national treasurer, Ethelyn Bowers of the South Jersey, New Jersey chapter. Our awards chair, F. Denise Gibson Bailey of the Arlington, Virginia chapter. We've already mentioned Michelle Hagans, who is a gold sponsor, but she is the chair of our building operations, and again from the Capital DC chapter. Glenda Walker, who is the chapter recording secretary from the Loudoun County, Virginia chapter. Caroline Lang of the Arlington, Virginia chapter, who is our national evaluation chair. Dr. Shawana Tucker Sims, our Eastern Area Director of the Waterbury, Connecticut chapter, is here. And Dr. Lisa Lowry Lomas, our Eastern Area Vice Director of the Columbia, Maryland chapter, is here. We're so very pleased and so proud and honored to have two of our past national presidents just from this area who are here and always there to support us. Pauline Ellison, our sixth national president of the Arlington, Virginia chapter, and Dr. Gladys Gary Vaughn, our 13th national president of the Potomac, Virginia chapter. We love them so much. And to all of our public officials with us tonight, a special thank you for your service and for your being here with us this evening. We even have representation all the way from the White House. The executive of the president, welcome, Delmira Caesar. Now, let's get real. My sisters and guests and all the good brothers who are with us, today is more just about donning a red dress. It is an in-your-face reminder that your heart health matters. Why? This small but mighty organ is responsible for delivering blood to every part of your body. And that blood carries important nutrients, including oxygen, to all of your organs. So when our heart fails to work properly, our very lives are at stake. Just like our programming is the heart of Linkdom, our heart is the center of all that happens with us. As women, and as Black women specifically, we are very vulnerable and we know it. So tonight you're going to hear a lot of statistics and you're going to get a lot of knowledge. But having the knowledge is meaningless unless you act. You are the stewards of your health. So each and every day we have to ask ourselves, how can I improve my own heart health? We have to ask ourselves, how can I improve the health of my sisters, my families, my friends, and my communities? Well, you all know that the Links Incorporated addresses this matter through our National Heartlink Signature Program, which equips our members and our communities with numerous ways to implement heart-healthy programs and activities, including our Walk for Healthy Living program, Childhood Obesity Prevention Program, Cardiovascular Disease Risk Reduction Program, and Red Dress programs just like the one tonight. We all know we're not immune. I'm not immune. So I ask you the same things that I ask of myself on the regular. Can I commit to a daily exercise and movement program? Can I go to the doctor regularly? Eat heart-healthy meals that include a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and healthy sources of proteins? And can I do my best to lower my stress? I know I'm not always perfect, as neither are you, but we have to try. And that really is all we want the women in our communities to understand, that these healthy behaviors add up. So tonight, I join the chorus of voices calling for cardiovascular awareness. Together, we can help reduce heart attacks, stroke, and COVID, because it hurts our heart among women, saving thousands of lives. Remember, Black women are the heartbeat of their families, their communities, and this nation. We just have to give ourselves a fighting chance, and we can do that by taking our own heart health into our hands. I know you believe it because you are here tonight. Now, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you to a man who has distinguished himself as a leader in the health sciences and has been a key figure in our fight against COVID-19, Dr. James Ek Hildreth. Dr. Hildreth is the 12th president and the Chief Executive Officer of Meharry Medical College, the nation's largest private, independent, historically Black academic health sciences center. He obtained a BA in chemistry from Harvard University and was selected as the first African-American Rhodes Scholar from Arkansas. He went on to earn his PhD in immunology from Oxford University, where his studies focused on the biology of virus-specific cytotoxic T cells. He also became an expert in monoclonal antibody technology and cell adhesion molecules while at Oxford. Needless to say, this brother knows his stuff. His research in immunology and virology with a focus on HIV has resulted in more than 120 publications in top journals and 11 patents. Additionally, he has received numerous awards for his research, commitment to diversity in medicine, biomedical research, and service to communities. In September of 2020, he was appointed to the FDA Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee, the panel that reviews COVID-19 vaccines for approval. In February of 2021, he was appointed by President Biden to the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force, where he is the chair. We are so honored to have him with us this evening. Please join me in welcoming Dr. James Ek Hildreth.
Hello, I'm Dr. James Hildreth, and I'm honored to speak to you today on behalf of the Links and their partnership with the American Heart Association in bringing us National Wear Red Day. I appreciate all of their work toward encouraging health and health knowledge, especially heart health awareness, and more recently, coronavirus knowledge. I've been a researcher for more than 4 decades looking for solutions in the laboratory and through the lens of a microscope. And more recently, I've had the privilege as president of Meharry Medical College to encourage the next generation of physicians, dentists, and researchers in continuing the never-ending effort toward better health care. In the past 2 years, we've been reminded that as much as we think we know about the microscopic perils around us, there's always something new that can emerge to threaten us all. I hear people say that we're in need of answers, but the greater need is to keep asking the questions. Curiosity about our well-being and self-awareness of our health is fundamental to acquiring the answers. It's where our minds monitor our bodies to make sure we're all doing all we can to stay fit, to stay healthy, so that we can meet those unexpected challenges. Over the past 2 years, we've become fatigued with masks, with distancing, with trying to stay informed about a virus that seems to keep changing. Even Solomon, in his wisdom, said, "There's a time to refrain from embracing." But we are a social people. We appreciate a strong handshake. We crave giving and receiving hugs. We all look forward to what we call normalcy, a return to life as we lived it before the pandemic. Shouldn't we look forward to a better life where we dedicate ourselves to being better keepers of our own health? Instead of hoping to go back to the way things were, shouldn't we resolve ourselves to finding a better path forward where we find a better, healthier self. Good health is the essence of riches. It is that which allows us to appreciate the days we've been given and the company of those around us, to enjoy and watch our children and grandchildren grow, to recognize the worth of a sunrise today and tomorrow and the day after that. Good health is really everything. And so, recognizing how wealthy we are daily in our good health, my wish and desire is that we should renew our investment in those riches that God has given us, that we recognize the value of that next breath, that next heartbeat, that we make sure that we take the steps that will give us the best quality of life. Once again, I want to thank all who are a part of National Wear Red Day and this effort to encourage us to continue to be the best version of ourselves, both physically and spiritually. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this special event.
Thank you, Madam President and Dr. Hildreth, for those remarks, and welcome once again to all of the special guests in the House. As always, this is a star-studded affair and evening that brings everyone together from all walks of life to save lives on National Wear Red Day. Now, I'd like to announce our social media winners are Regina McKissick, a.k.a. Kindness Counts, I think. I hear you from Nashville, Tennessee. And also Nicole McClendon of Dallas, Texas. Congratulations, ladies. You'll also receive product gifts courtesy of our Platinum Plus sponsor, MELE Skincare. And you'll get signed copies of the book, CEO of My Soul, The Self-Love Journey of a Small Business Owner by my very good friend, Nicole Kober. It's a great book. You can check the live chat right now for instructions on how to claim your prizes. And make sure you stay with us because, of course, we have more prizes throughout the evening. Now, speaking of stars, we have another celebrity in the house, I hear. Come on in, Dr. Simone of Bravo's Married to Medicine. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Jumi. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Simone bringing it to the DMV from the ATL. I am so excited to support National Wear Red Day with the DMV links. This event is super important because everyone needs to know the signs and symptoms of heart disease. And we also need to know how heart disease is connected and linked to so many other diseases. As an OBGYN, I want to encourage women to make their healthcare a #1 priority. But in the meantime, don't forget about your self-care. I am here today to announce the winners of the Dr. Simone Skincare Body Cream. And the winners are Maya Collier from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Kathy House from Washington, D.C. Congratulations, ladies. I hope my body cream made from all natural ingredients helps your skin feel soft and silky. Hey, Jumi. Now it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Simone. Love the show. Love Bravo as always. I told you, folks, keep it locked right here. Like and share the event because you never know who could be stopping by. And congrats to all the winners of Dr. Simone's body cream. You can check out the chat right now for instructions on how to claim your prizes. And remember, more prizes are coming in for tuning in tonight. Go to MeleRedDressPhoto.com to post your picture with the hashtag, and the winners will be announced at the end of the event this evening. Now, as part of Red Dress each year, we designate a community partner for a special presentation made possible by the generosity of our corporate sponsors and our host link chapters. Last year's partners were Washington, D.C.'s Unity Healthcare, Maryland's Open My Heart Foundation, and Virginia's Doorways. Again, for the second time in DMV Links Red Dress history, we will be awarding 3 donations to 3 partners across the DMV. And here to make these presentations are Beverly Fields, president of the Metropolitan DC Links chapter, Desiree Hughes, the president of the Silver Spring, Maryland Links chapter, and my president, Dr. Regina Milteira, the president of the Reston, Virginia Links chapter.
Thank you, Jumi. I am Beverly Ann Fields, president of the Metropolitan DC chapter of the Links Incorporated. And on behalf of the 14 sponsoring chapters of this year's DMV Links Red Dress event, I am pleased to provide a donation to our Red Dress Washington, D.C. community partner, Dress for Success, Washington, D.C. The mission of Dress for Success is to empower women to achieve economic independence by providing a network of professional support, professional attire, and the development tools to help women thrive in work and in life. As our partner, the organization has participated in our Walk for Healthy Living community event, and we in turn have provided workshops on heart health and healthy eating, as well as clothing donations to the women in their program. For more information about Dress for Success, Washington, D.C., please visit their website or our digital program journal. And now we will hear from Desiree Hughes, president of the Silver Spring chapter.
Thank you, Beverly. Good evening, everyone. I am Desiree Hughes, president of the Silver Spring, Maryland chapter of the Links Incorporated. And on behalf of the 14 sponsoring chapters of the 14th annual DMV Links Red Dress event, I am pleased to present a donation to our Maryland-based community partner, the TRIO program at Montgomery College. This program provides outreach support services, including food insecurity needs, to individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds. Food insecurity is associated with poor diet and linked to many unhealthy outcomes, including heart disease and high blood pressure. We support TRIO's mission in providing the necessary resources to those in need. For more information about the TRIO program, please visit their website and our digital program journal. And now we will hear from Regina Milteira, president of the Reston, Virginia chapter.
Thank you, Desiree, and good evening to all. I am Dr. Regina Milteira, president of the Reston, Virginia chapter of the Links Incorporated. On behalf of the sponsoring chapters of this year's DMV Links Red Dress event, it is my heartfelt pleasure to present a donation to Virginia community partner, the Sierra Brookins Lupus Educational Foundation, which was founded by our dear friend and yours, the late Edgar Brookins, Washington, D.C. General Manager of the Afro, known to many of us as Mr. D.C. He was all about community. And thanks to Edgar, the Links always had a special place in the Afro to spotlight our transformative programs and fundraisers. The foundation, in honor of Edgar's beautiful daughter, Sierra, who transitioned at the young age of 26 from cardiac complications secondary to her lupus disease. Heart attacks and related cardiovascular diseases have emerged as leading causes of early mortality in people with a diagnosis of lupus. The Links are committed to not only eradicating heart disease, but to bringing more awareness to other conditions such as lupus that have a connection to heart disease. For more information about the Sierra Brookins Lupus Educational Foundation, please visit their website and our digital program journal. Now back to you, Jumi.
Thank you, Madam President, and congratulations again to our community partners for this year. Now I would like to introduce celebrity wellness expert and licensed esthetician Jermaine Williams, the owner of Red Bloom Spa in Bethesda, Maryland. You may have seen her in prominent publications and magazines, as she's really a sought-out person for beauty and self-care advice. Please welcome to the stage Jermaine Williams.
Thank you, Jimmy, for this kind introduction. I am excited and thrilled to be a part of this meaningful event once again. I want to personally thank the DMV Links for continuing this wonderful tradition as we come together to celebrate the 14th annual Red Dress Project tonight. This year's theme is Heart Healthy You in 2022. So it is so important as we continue to discover and learn how to care for ourselves, care for the whole person inside and out. As a wellness and beauty expert, I welcome the opportunity to represent MELE, a brand committed to using science to advance melanin-rich skin. Melanin-rich skin should always be a priority, and MELE has been very thoughtful about using ingredients that nourish, enhance, and protect our largest organ, which is our skin. We have learned that skin health impacts heart health, and heart health impacts skin health. In fact, our skin actually can signal issues and tell us things that are happening in our heart and other organs. I am passionate, and I've been passionate about beauty and wellness for over 30 years. And I've always believed the best path to achieving personal health is by treating the whole person, including spirit, mind, and body. I have personally decided 2022 is the year of self-love and self-care. And MELE has always been an advocate for self-care. And believe it or not, MELE is the first of its kind as a national skincare brand that specifically designed and curated and cultivated products that nourish melanin-rich skin. The creation of MELE started off as an idea 2 years ago to create skincare solutions for women of color with one purpose in mind: ensuring melanin-rich skin is treated as priority. The brand was developed in collaboration with dermatologists, skincare experts, and consumers with melanin-rich skin to create a range of products that focus on the most common skincare issues that we see in our community, such as hyperpigmentation, sun damage, acne, and uneven skin tone. Their products help to not only maximize brown and Black skin, but minimize these concerns that we have. MELE is on a mission, and I love their mission. It is to empower the melanin-rich community, not only with products, but with celebrating and elevating women and men of color with melanin-rich skin products and education. They've gone one step further. Not only did they develop products, these amazing products, but they are committed to changing how melanin-rich skin is presented, as well as educating other skincare professionals on how to care for melanin-rich skin more appropriately. MELE is a brand that doesn't just stop at creating these wonderful products, but they are committed to promoting change in the skincare industry. This mission that MELE has embarked on is being noticed. It was the #1 most awarded new face care brand of 2022. Some of you may know this firsthand. We are grateful and excited that the members of the Links tried MELE this past year, and we're sharing some of their stunning before and afters, and we want to say thank you. As Jumi mentioned earlier, there's an amazing discount that MELE is extending. So from February the 6th through February the 12th at CVS stores, when you buy one MELE brand, you get the other at 50% off. Yes, 50% off. So it's a great deal. So again, I want to thank the DMV Links for having me. I want to thank MELE as we celebrate again the 14th annual Red Dress Project. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Jermaine. And, once again, MELE does have that petition to drive equity in skincare. The QR code is on your screen right now. There's also a link we're about to put in the chat for the petition that you can sign. So make sure you do that when you have a second. Okay, well, now it is time for the main event, our panel. But before I go, I have one more MELE giveaway because, I love to give away prizes. Let me get my phone once again. Okay, who are our prizes going to this time? All right, congratulations to Marla Holland of Washington, D.C. You are the winner of a product and a $25 gift card. Congratulations to you, and thank you for signing that petition as well. Please check the live chat for instructions on how to redeem all of your gifts this evening. Now, tonight's moderator is back by popular demand. In fact, I wanted her to come back. She needs no introduction. Help me welcome to the virtual stage my friend, the amazing award-winning media veteran, Andrea Rohn, a member of the Metropolitan DC Links chapter. Andrea, good to see you. Take it away.
Thank you very much. It is great to be on the stage with you. You did an awesome job as Mistress of Ceremony, as you always do every year. Pleasure being with you. As Jumi said, I'm Andrea Roan, proud member of the Metropolitan DC chapter of the Links Incorporated, and I'm your moderator this evening. And from what we've seen so far, I'm sure you feel the same excitement that I do. Even though it's the virtual stage, it almost feels like the good old days. You know, it's great to be here and see so many of you supporting this wonderful cause, one that truly speaks to my heart. And as we've heard over and over again tonight, it is about you. It is about you having a healthy heart in 2022. You know, Red Dress is all about changing lives for the better in so many ways. At last year's Red Dress, Tanya Osborne of Nashville, Tennessee, won MELE products, and she can't stop raving about how they've changed her skin, her self-care, and her self-esteem. I'm calling her the Melanista. Look at her pictures there. She's doing a great job, and we always love to hear and see stories like this. So Tanya, if you're watching, please get in touch with us in the chat and let us know how things are going. Now, you too can enter to win MELE products by putting your best face forward. This is another reminder to go to melereddressphoto.com, post your photo filter to Instagram, and be sure to tag MELE Skincare and use hashtags DMVlinksreddress and MELE Skincare. See the directions in the chat for more details, including MELE's special retail deal you've been hearing about all evening. Don't miss out on the opportunity to sample MELE's incredible products designed with me and you in mind. Remember, I'll be announcing MELE winners from the photo booth activation at the end of the show, so you don't want to go away. I have some giveaways right now. How about that? This is going to be a gift-giving rich program. These are the lucky winners. Please be sure to check the live chat for instructions on how to claim your prize. Are you ready? Here are the names. Comalita Gadsden of Maryland and Angela Tillman of Washington, D.C. Congratulations, ladies. You registered the most guests for our event tonight, and you are the winners of this fabulous Hearty prize package, which includes, drum roll please, a $100 Visa gift card, Washington Integrative Health New Patient Chiropractic Session, Dr. Yolanda Holmes's Dermatology Glow Bright Facial, Monarch Magazine subscription. Monarch is our gold sponsor. Signed book, Getting to the Root, a dermatologist and cosmetologist guide to understanding hair by dermatologist Dr. Yolanda Lindsay. A gift certificate from Red Bloom Wellness Spa, courtesy of Jermaine Williams, celebrity wellness expert and nutritionist. She'll be on our panel. You heard her speak earlier as brand ambassador for MELE Skincare. Those gifts were awesome, but they weren't the only gifts we have for you this evening. So again, we remind you, please don't go anywhere because the gift giving gets even better as the evening goes on. But now we're getting down to the business with our amazing panel of experts, and they are amazing. Many of you have been waiting patiently for our live panel. Please hold your virtual applause until I introduce all of the panelists, and then we'll get into the heart of the matter. Also, check out our electronic program journal for their full bios. All right, here we go. Backed by popular demand, welcome our dear friend, our Red Dress resident cardiologist, Dr. Reginald Robinson. He specializes in non-invasive cardiology in the Washington, D.C. area with MedStar Cardiology Associates, LLC. His clinical expertise in cardiology with a practice focused on lifestyle changes and healthier changes through prevention. Dr. Robinson is president of the American Heart Association Eastern States Region Board of Directors. He is also a proud member of the 100 Black Men and Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Always good to have you with us. Dr. Regina Hampton is a board-certified general surgeon with a breast health and breast cancer focus. She is the first female president of the medical staff at Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center in its 40-year history. Dr. Hampton is also co-founder of Cherry Blossom Intimates. It's a boutique located in Prince George's County, Maryland. Their specialty is custom prosthetics for breast cancer survivors, along with undergarments and intimates for all body shapes, sizes, and skin tones. Dr. Hampton is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and the Washington, D.C. chapter of the Links Incorporated. You'll probably recognize this next face. Very familiar, Dr. Corey Hebert is one of the most illustrious physicians practicing medicine in the United States today. His specialties are pediatrics and emergency medicine. As a noted medical broadcast journalist, he is on-air chief medical editor for the NBC affiliate in my hometown of New Orleans and the Gulf Coast. He is also a frequent on-air contributor to the Dr. Oz Show and a current contributor to Discovery Channel's How Stuff Works. He's been seen countless times on CNN, CBS, National Geographic, Good Morning America, The Today Show, and much more. He is assistant professor at Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center and Tulane University Medical Center, and he is CEO, Community Health TV, the parent company of BlackHealthTV.com and LatinoHealthTV.com. He is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. Lisa Cooper Lucas is a corporate trainer, consultant, educator, and mental health practitioner, licensed in the DMV. Recognized as a highly skilled and trained trauma clinician, Dr. Lisa was recruited following the attacks of 9/11 by the Defense Intelligence Agency to provide care to the employees and their families impacted by the catastrophic events of that day. With nearly 3 decades of experience, she has provided an array of services, including behavioral health care, developing and administering clinical operations, and managing behavioral health and medical personnel in a variety of settings, which include Johns Hopkins University and Hospital, Magellan Behavioral Health, and the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. Dr. Lisa holds a plethora of certifications as a trauma-informed therapist, a certified employee assistance professional, master addiction counselor, and a Department of Transportation qualified substance abuse professional. She currently provides program development expertise for Arlington, Virginia County Government Public Safety. That includes police, sheriff, fire, and emergency call center personnel as their public safety wellness coordinator. And Dr. Cooper Lucas is president of the Columbia, Maryland chapter of the Links Incorporated. A stage 3A triple negative breast cancer survivor and thriver, Ricky Fairley is on a mission and ministry, a mission to bring focus, attention, research, and action to eradicating Black breast cancer and supporting and coaching what she calls her breasties through her breast cancer experience. She is an award-winning seasoned marketing veteran who has transformed her strategic acumen into breast cancer advocacy. Ricky is CEO of Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance to address Black breast cancer. Ricky is the co-host for The Doctor Is In, a weekly live series on theblackdoctor.org. She is a founding member of Black Data Matters in partnership with breastcancer.org, Citizen, the Center for Healthcare Innovation, Morehouse School of Medicine, and the Susan G. Komen Foundation to encourage and elevate the importance of Black women participating in clinical trial research. Ricky is a proud member of the Silver Spring, Maryland chapter of the Links Incorporated. The Reverend Gail Harris Berry is truly a walking miracle. Get this, she is a 5-time heart attack survivor. And as a volunteer ambassador with the American Heart Association, she uses her powerful voice to tell her compelling story with the goal of saving lives. Through her impactful work with the American Heart Association, she's also represented the organization at a White House cardiovascular briefing. There, she had the opportunity to share her story with Obama administration officials. And she has appeared on ABC Nightly News with Diane Sawyer to talk about heart attack symptoms in women, which are often misunderstood. And we definitely look forward to hearing Reverend Harris Berry's story, because we know it's one that will inspire and empower all who are watching this evening. Celebrity wellness coach, licensed esthetician, and MELE consultant Jermaine Williams was on the Red Dress virtual stage earlier as a speaker tonight on behalf of MELE, our platinum sponsor. She needs no further introduction, as our mistress of ceremony, Julia Olabanji, did the honors earlier. So Jermaine, we are just really thrilled to have you join us on the panel. Now, audience, applaud this wonderful panel. So let's get right into the discussion, and we'll start with Dr. Robinson. In my introduction to you, doctor, when it comes to heart disease, I said your practice focuses on lifestyle changes and healthier changes through prevention. But awareness is key to prevention. Yet these were some startling statistics I read recently. 36% of Black women are unaware that heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the United States. And 52% don't know their risk factors. REDress and the links have been sounding this alarm for years. Doctor, what do you make of this, and why aren't women getting the message?
Well, first, I'd like to thank you guys for having me again. And the event gets bigger and better each year. And I would agree with Jumi that I love you as well, Andrea. It's a pleasure always being on a panel with you. You make it so easy and comfortable to get on and talk about whatever it is. Those statistics are still pretty staggering, and it doesn't surprise me because, you know, women, they tend to be more of the caretakers when it comes to everything in life, right? So if you ask a man about the type of insurance policy or anything about going to the doctor itself, it's usually handled by the woman. But over the years, I believe that comes from being overburdened with other things in life and not putting themselves first. And it's up to us as physicians to really shed light on that. And the links have done a great job just looking at the reach that it has in the community itself.
What's also interesting is a study by the American Heart Association that it's women across all groups, racial, economic, education-wise, and younger women. It's a 10-year trend in women awareness declining. At the same time, heart disease is on the rise in younger women. What's behind that?
Well, if you look at some of the statistics, there are multiple things. We look at how stress impacts health and cardiovascular health, how our lifestyle overall impacts it. And 2 out of 3 American women or African American may be overweight or obese, and that obesity is starting at an earlier age. And I think that starts that time clock ticking. So you're developing diabetes at an earlier age, you're developing hypertension at an earlier age, you're developing risk factors like obstructive sleep apnea that goes along with obesity at an earlier age. So we're seeing these things that we thought our grandparents would have, or you had to wait until you're 70 or 80 to getting them at an earlier age because in part because of obesity and some of the stressful impact that life has on us.
You mentioned obesity. Since we say that 56% of people, Black women, don't know their risk factors, talk to us about the signs and symptoms of heart disease that Black women specifically should not ignore.
So the classic symptom is still something that women do get. Know your body, that's what I always would say. And it usually tries to tell you what it is, and that it helps you to become your advocate. So if you're getting exertion-related chest pain, walking down the street, doing your usual activities of daily living, and you start noticing tightness in the chest, heaviness, pressure, the more subtle findings may be that you're getting more winded than usual, doing the same things that you normally would do. And that's telling you that something's changing in your body. And I can't tell you enough that more and more people make up excuses. Oh, it's just because I haven't worked out, or I'm just tired, or I picked up the COVID-20. I call it the COVID 20 pounds that a lot of people have picked up over COVID. So it's easy to blame it on that. But first and foremost, listen to yourself, listen to your body. It'll tell you what you need to know.
Reverend Gail Harris Berry was listening to her body. She just had a hard time getting the doctors to listen to what she was saying. And that misunderstanding and ignorance, in a way, nearly cost her life, not once, not twice, but 5 times. We are anxious to hear your story, Dr. Reverend Gail. That began when you were just 46 years old, and because of time, it's got to be a condensed version, but it is a compelling story. Tell us what happened to you.
Good evening to all of you, especially the Links chapter, for having me on the panel. Just for full disclosure, Dr. Robinson is my cardiologist, but we didn't know we both were invited to be on this panel.
And he didn't
At age
ignore
46, I suffered my at age 46, I suffered my first heart event. I went to the hospital, two different hospitals in the DMV, and I was turned away 5 times, saying that there was nothing wrong. My 5th trip, I just refused to leave because by that time my body was so haggard, I could hardly put one foot in front of the other. I knew that something was wrong. I refused to leave, and because I refused, they started treating me as if I was having mental problems, and they called down for the psychiatric folks from the hospital. And I said, I assure you, there's nothing wrong with my mind, but something is going on in my body. I was taken, one of the cardiologists that had saw me on a prior trip, he saw me sitting there, and he said, Miss Harrisbury? I said, yes. He said, what happened to you? And I said, I'm telling you, something is wrong. They took me up to the cath lab. I didn't know what the cath lab was at the time, but they took me to the cath lab. And while under anesthesia, they said, I could hear them talking all of a sudden, Harry, now, this, quickly. And so when they were wheeling me to recovery, the nurse stopped the gurney in the hall. I said, I could hear everything that you said. What was it? She said, you had a 90% blockage, and this would have killed you. Thank God you listened to your body and not to us. My family has a history of heart disease. All the men on my father's side of the family died before the age of 50. My father is still living because he had quadruple bypass surgery and now lives with the defibrillator. 2011, go in the hospital to check my stents to make sure they're working. I wound up in a coma for about 3 weeks. I bled out from that procedure and had to learn how to walk, do everything all over again. Then I was at Dr. Robinson's office on November the 15th, 2021, and just for stress test. I had done the test, and while I was there, I started having pain, and I told the technician. And when I told the technician, she said, you can't be having pain. You already finished the test. I said, I'm telling you, I'm having pain. So I got up from the machine that was taking the pictures, and the cardiologist that was there wasn't Dr. Robinson. And he said, well, your EKG hasn't changed. I said, I don't care what the EKG said. I'm telling you, I need 3 aspirin and I need nitroglycerin tablets. Now, mind you, I'm never without them. They're always in my purse. I'm never without them because the doctors have told me I do everything right to save my life. And it's just a testament because I'm still here after 5 events to the hospital. That day, I was taken to Anne Arundel Medical Center, and I had a double bypass open heart surgery. So I'm less than 3 months out, but I'm still here to tell the story.
And God bless you. We're so glad you're here to tell the story. And women and men listening out there, listen to your bodies and advocate for yourself. We'll hear more from Reverend Gail, but we want to talk now about COVID-19 and why people like Reverend Gail, who are have cardiovascular disease or heart attack, are at higher risk for COVID. Dr. Hebert, why is that the case?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for having me. It's a great event. COVID-19, we passed a really grim milestone today. Over 900,000 people in America have died, and a lot of them have been African American, and that is staggering. Once you have COVID-19, this is a virus that we really have not seen. It has done neurologic damage. It has done inflammatory damage. So when you have an issue of inflammation in your body, especially in the heart muscle, then the heart is going to really have to work very hard to try to overcome any of this inflammation. So myocarditis or any of the other cardiovascular issues that can come up can really cause a problem. Also, when you have overwhelming sepsis or you have increased blood pressure from stress because of the lack of being able to perfuse your lungs, that also causes a lot of problems. And all of us are victims of the issues of how we have to deal with all of the psychological issues and stress from COVID-19, and that stress in and of itself as an African American because of the social determinants of health, which is where you live, where you love, where you work, and where you play. When you have all those things on you, and as a woman, even worse, this is going to be something that's going to cause your heart to really have a lot of problems.
Lancet, the British medical journal, came out today with numbers talking about just how devastating COVID can be on heart and stroke victims. 3 times the mortality, 8 times the recurrence.
Sure.
What is it that heart and stroke patients need to know to protect themselves after a COVID diagnosis, before a COVID diagnosis?
Yeah. The first thing you need to always recognize, and that's everybody on the panel, is to watch out for disinformation. And I want to say that to even all of the educated women and men that are watching this right now. All of us, when we got that first shot, were scared because of something we saw on Facebook. Everybody, we're like, man, I sure hope this works, right? And the reason why you felt that way is not because of something the scientist told you. It was because of something that a non-scientist told you, like your mailman or your cousin, right? And that is not appropriate. All right. But we have disinformation out there. So people that are learning about how to prevent cardiovascular issues, especially people that have these issues already, need to listen to their doctors, and they need to go to their doctor all the time. You should go when you're supposed to go. Now, the interesting part about this is that people, because they were afraid of going to get COVID at the hospital, they didn't go to their cardiovascular appointments, and then all of those things start to back up. The high blood pressure, you don't get your medicine, so then you have increased pressure, which causes increased problems on the pump, which is the heart. So if you go see your doctor, these things can be managed. Just like the Reverend said, she was in a doctor's office, Dr. Robinson's office, who I went to Morehouse with, by the way, and kudos there. The issue is that she was there. What would have happened had she not been there? So we have to make sure that we deal with this disinformation on the internet. And one more thing I want to say: women, your symptoms are different for a cardiovascular disease. So you have jaw pain, you have back pain, you have neck pain, shortness of breath, and men don't usually get these things. So when you read about what your risk factors are, you need to make sure that you look at those things too, because they will send you home from the hospital real quick saying that you have reflux, and then you'll die at home. So that's why we know they don't treat us right. We know.
Dr. Robinson, Dr. Hebert talked about the people who were so afraid disinformation, misinformation kept them from going to see their doctors. In 2020, we talked about 30 to 40% drop off in inpatient visits. In 2021, did you see the same, or are people now paying attention to their bodies and listening to their bodies and going back to their physicians for checkups?
So I first want to piggyback on something that Reverend Harris-Berry mentioned about her family history. When you think about family history, you think about male first-degree relatives before the age of 50 or 55 with a heart attack or stroke, first-degree female relative with a heart attack or stroke before the age of 60, 65. A stress test is not the screening test that you look for. There are other screening tests that you can look at, something called a coronary calcium score if you truly do have a family history of early cardiovascular disease, where I like to use the analogy that if you go into, say, if you're 50 years old and you go into a 50-year-old house, you're more than likely to see something in that plumbing. It may not be at a roto-rooter stage, but you probably will see something there. Imagine pouring grease down that pipe for 20, 30 years. That grease going down the pipe is like diabetes, right? So if you cut the plumbing open of a 50-year-old house that had grease poured down it for 10 to 20 years, you're going to see something. So that coronary calcium score, you can ask your physician about that. It's done at most radiology practices. It's covered. It's not covered by insurance, but the investment is well worth it. It's usually anywhere from $80 to $90. So that's a true screening test. Wanted to talk about an initiative that the American Heart Association had called Don't Die of Doubt. We saw that there was a drop off in heart attacks and strokes of patients coming into the hospital. We knew that wasn't true, right? There were people still having the same amount of heart attacks and stroke. So I see it quite often that I actually have to encourage my patients to go to the emergency room when they're actually having classic symptoms of a heart attack and stroke. When you think about stroke, there's an acronym FAST, FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, slurred speech, and T is most important time. I always tell people, don't call me first, call 911 so that you can get there and get the treatment that's available for you. If you wait outside of the window, you lose time. Time is brain, time is heart. So always think about that. So don't die of doubt sitting at home because you're scared of COVID. The ER is probably one of the most safest places because they've been dealing with it now for over 2.5 years. So get that care, don't die at home.
You're talking about COVID over 2.5 years going into our third year. It's, Monmouth poll said 70% of us are just sick and tired of COVID, and we should just learn to live with it and get on with our lives. Dr. Aber, is that even possible? Now we have the variant to the Omicron variant in 17 states. When is this going to be over, or do we just live with it?
And now that's the $1 million question. I will tell you, data, once again, grim data came out of Africa. Only 11% of Africa is fully vaccinated. So if we don't vaccinate the world, then the variants come out of us not vaccinating the world, okay? The virus's job is to hunt you down and kill you. And your immune system's job is to protect yourself. So if people are not getting vaccinated, then the virus is trying to figure out how it's going to live. So just think about your house. I like Dr. Robinson's analogy. Think about your house. When you go to sleep, you have to check every room and check every window and every door to make sure it's locked. But the burglar only has to find the one that you left open. So that's what a virus does. So with that being said, we have an Omicron subclass called BA2 right now that's in Denmark that's causing issues. But I will tell you this. We are in the first phase of a pandemic, and we still are in the first phase. The first phase is true pandemic, where it is fully disruptive to everything. The second phase is deceleration. We thought we were decelerating after Delta, but then guess what we did? Accelerated with Omicron. So we are going to have to learn to live with this. We will eventually get close to herd immunity, but the fifth stage and last stage of any pandemic is eradication, and we will never get there. There's only one disease that's ever been eradicated, and that is smallpox. So at this point, we have to learn how to deal with it and wash up, mask up, separate, and vaccinate. That has been my mantra since the beginning, and that'll be my mantra till it's over. Because when people tell you don't have to worry about wearing a mask or don't have to worry about doing this, they're not talking about all of us, because us that are on this screen right now and the people that are watching, us died more than them. So we have to continue to do the things that we need to do to protect our communities, not just when somebody says what's good in Utah is good in Miami. Those two things are very different.
So this vicious cycle is going to continue. In the summer, we're going to have another outbreak, and then we go to the winter holidays, and we start it all over and over and over again. When do we get to herd immunity, and what does herd immunity mean now?
Okay, so I don't think that it's going to have a vicious cycle where we're going to have more pandemic. I think it's going to become endemic, meaning that there will be pockets where people get infected. I think there will be another surge that not as bad in the summer when things kind of calm down, and then the virus has a chance to mutate a bit and then starts to hit people as we get back to normal. But we will have to deal with this kind of like the flu, off and on for the next few years. And then because coronavirus is a very small, silly virus, to be honest with you, when you start looking at measles and influenza, this virus is not a big deal unless you have no antibodies to it, which is obviously SARS-CoV-2. So we don't expect this to be around for a very, very long time. But I think until Christmas, we still be probably wearing masks this year. Okay, we're all going to take a deep breath because we are weary of just hearing that. And we're going to change gears just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, each year we include a panel health topic that many don't connect to heart disease. This year, it's breast cancer. Last year, we talked about skin issues that could signal heart concerns. And the prior year, we shared the oral health connection to heart health. This evening, we're joined by Dr. Regina Hampton and Ricky Fairley, as we said, a triple negative survivor. Welcome to both of you. Dr. Hampton, first off, what is the breast cancer connection to heart disease?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be on this panel with all these great experts. So breast cancer can be related, especially the treatment. So when you talk about the main treatments, chemotherapy, radiation, and even surgery, there can be some side effects to all of these treatments that can affect the heart. So when we talk about radiation, radiation can affect the heart, especially in women that have left-sided breast cancer and need to get radiation after either a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. And it can cause some arrhythmias. It can even cause some changes in the arteries in the heart. And these can be long-term effects. You won't typically see these immediately, but these can be later on down the line. Now, thankfully, the radiation oncologists, in recognizing this, have changed some of their treatment patterns for left-sided breast cancers. They can have women lay in a prone position, laying face down, so that brings the breast away from the chest wall and the heart, so that you can treat the breast safely and then give less of a dose to the heart. Also, the technology of the radiation machines is a lot better as well. So the radiation oncologists are really trying to recognize this and trying to decrease those downstream effects to the heart. Now, chemotherapy, which oftentimes gets a bad rap, but I think for a lot of women, it's one of the single reasons why we have so many survivors. There are some medications that can cause heart failure. Luckily, it can be temporary, and once chemotherapy is done, these can be reversible. In a very small percentage, about 1% to 2%, it can be long-lasting effects. And again, I think as we have moved forward, the technology has gotten better. We have better research into better medications. We're really trying to really lower these effects for women. And then for me as a surgeon, certainly whenever I take anyone to surgery, there always is a risk, especially under general anesthesia, with patients having damage to the heart. Again, I always like to send my patients, especially if they have heart issues, to see their friendly cardiologist so that we can make sure that we have them in tip-top shape before we put them under anesthesia. So luckily, we're not seeing the problems that we once did, and that's just because our technologies have gotten better. And we're really taking a more multidisciplinary approach in that if I know there's a patient who has some heart issues, we're going to make sure that we bring that cardiologist into the fold so that we can all treat as a team and not in silos.
Doctor, are women more aware of their risk factors for breast cancer than they seem to be for heart disease, even though some of those risk factors are the same? Is it a better message being distributed to breast cancer patients and women in general talking about breast cancer than heart disease?
You know, I think we still have a long ways to go, and especially when you talk about women of color. And that's just because breast cancers in women of color just haven't been studied very well. So it's really hard for us to look at women and be able to know exactly what their risk factors are. And it's similar to what we heard Dr. Robinson talk about, is a lot of women, we're still not talking in our families about family history, because just like in heart disease, we as African American women develop breast cancer at younger ages. So we really have got to communicate that health history in our families. And that's just so important. And we can't say that enough times.
You know, Dr. Something that she just said.
Yes, absolutely.
Just so that everyone can be aware that's on the call to be their best advocate. If you've had breast cancer, as Dr. Hampton said, it's that timeline, and you might have symptoms that may be overlooked. So she mentioned heart failure. Certain chemotherapy drugs can cause what we call congestive heart failure and make the heart weak. So if you know you've had chemotherapy, you may not know which regimen you may have had, but you had chemotherapy, and all of a sudden you become more short of breath, or you start having swelling in your legs, or you can't lay flat because you feel like you're filling up with fluid. One of the easiest things to do is get what's called an echocardiogram. It's an ultrasound of the heart, to be able to look at the heart itself to see how strong that heart looks. So make sure the doctor doesn't overlook it if you've had something like chemotherapy. She also mentioned radiation, in particular over the left side of the chest. She mentioned that in particular because the heart's there, the arteries are right over the heart, the valves are right there in front of it. And one of the valves that's closest to the chest wall is something called the tricuspid valve. As that radiation is going through, you may not see it for 10 to 15 years down the line. You got radiation 10, 15 years ago, and all of a sudden you're starting to get short of breath or more winded, or a doctor listens and hears a loud murmur. That could be that the radiation over these 10 to 15 years have scarred that valve or the arteries of the heart that can actually cause chest pain. And again, that echocardiogram or further testing should be warranted. So think about those two and link those together. If you've had radiation 10, 15 years ago, if you've had chemotherapy within the past few years and you have some of those symptoms, go check with your doctor.
Dr. Hampton and Dr. Robinson, everybody's talking about advocating for themselves. Dr. Hampton mentioned the technology is changing. Ricky, you're all about the science, and one of your passions and mission is to get Black women to take part in clinical trials. why so important and how heavy a lift is that, convincing them that clinical trials can make a difference in their health?
Well, thank you for being here and thank you for such an awesome conversation. Black women participate in clinical trials at about a 3% rate. So for breast cancer specifically, we don't really have drugs that have been tested on our body. And when I dug into the data for heart drugs as well, and we don't have a lot of science around drugs in Black women's bodies, and our bodies are different. For breast cancer, the more Black women die of heart disease, relative to white women, we have a 41% higher mortality rate. And for Black women like me who've had breast cancer, I have a 71% higher relative risk of death. So the mortality rates are devastating for Black women in breast cancer. And right now, we don't know that the therapies work because, frankly, we just really don't have the science. And across the board, there's been, we have a lot of earned medical mistrust of Black people because of Henrietta Lacks and syphilis and all those bad things that happened. But now there are a lot of rules in place and safety precautions in place to protect us. And what we're finding even in the breast cancer arena is that Black women just don't understand the fundamentals of how clinical trials work. So they think they're going to get the sugar pill and die. They think they're going to be a guinea pig. And we have to get over that because that's not what's happening in science. You get standard of care, which are the drugs that are currently on the market, or potentially a new drug that could save your life. And we're on a mission to get more Black women to understand the fundamentals of how clinical trials work so that we can do things to save our lives.
The right drugs in treating triple negative was lacking at the time you were being treated, correct, Ricky?
Right. We didn't have any targeted therapies for triple negative when I was treated. And my doctor gave me 2 years to live. I'm on 10. So I'm very blessed to be here. And I know this is my purpose. Right now, we now have just 2 therapies for triple negative breast cancer. Thank God for those. But we still don't even have a lot of awareness of those in our breast cancer community. So as everybody has talked about, advocating for yourself is so important, and so important for Black women to stand up for themselves and demand treatments and demand clinical trials, because right now most doctors don't even bring up clinical trials to patients without them provoking the conversation and educating them effectively. So we do need to stand up for ourselves. Black women under 35 get breast cancer at twice the rate and die at 3 times the rate, well before they're supposed to get their first mammogram at 40. So we do have to stand up for ourselves, and we do need to know her stories and talk to our families and make these health conversations at our kitchen table.
Dr. Hampton, is there something unique about how breast cancer presents itself in Black women rather than white women?
Yeah, so as Ricky said, we typically get breast cancer at younger ages. It can be under the age of 50, and an even greater number under the age of 40 before we even get mammograms. And also, unfortunately, as we heard before, that we're just not heard. A woman in her 30s may go to her doctor and she may be blown off and said, well, it's just a cyst or just come back. It's nothing to worry about. But in that Black woman, we've got to worry about it. And as we've heard before, we've got to be our advocate. We've got to keep knocking on doors until someone takes us seriously, hears us, and takes action.
Dr. Hebert had mentioned earlier about the burden that's placed on Black women, and stress is something that Ricky has told us played a role, she believes, in her breast cancer. And it's something we hear about daily on the news. In fact, the news locally was of Howard University canceling all classes today, giving students, staff, and everyone on the campus a mental health day. So to Dr. Lisa Cooper Lucas, are we in the midst of what some are calling a mental health pandemic, Doctor?
Absolutely. And thank you, Andrea, and panelists for the opportunity to be here. But I think overall, what I could say is that everything that has been said today by all the professionals really culminates in how we think, feel, and behave, which is our mental health. And yes, we are in a pandemic in terms of mental health. The depression and anxiety are through the roof. They're measurable in terms of just the workplace, people in their homes, the inability to have the kind of practices we've had in the past by socializing and gathering has really created a a sense of isolation. So that too has become a major problem and is one of the number one reasons why people become so depressed, and the suicide rates are increasing as well. So when we talk about mental health and we talk about heart disease, we're also talking about stress and how that impacts our bodies and what's happening in our brains when we become so stressed. I think Dr. Aber mentioned in one of our conversations about a study that was being done in terms of people pretty much who are impacted by an overproduction of cortisol, which creates a lot of problems in terms of how the body functions. And so if you've got something going on that you're feeling really stressful about, what's happening in your body? Where is it hurt? Is your stomach upset? Are you having headaches? Do you have an inability to sleep? All of those things also impact your cardiac well-being. And so when we talk about stress, we're not just talking about a vague sort of premise. We're talking about something that impacts your body, really distorts how you feel about yourself and your thinking. So it's the total package of who we are and what's happening.
4 in 10 Americans say they've experienced some sort of heart-related issues because of the pandemic, blaming it a lot on isolation, especially in that first year. You understand that?
Right. Absolutely. The isolation and the loneliness. If you think about what we do on a regular basis, more often than not, even if we are not partnered and we live by ourselves, we often have practices that involve other people. We might have lunch or dinner with people on occasion. We go to social events. Those kinds of activities really feed our souls. They feed who we are. They make us feel connected. They make us feel genuine. They make us feel heard. A lot of that has been compromised during the pandemic. And even if we think about how people are dating today and how really we have to encourage people to connect virtually. And even the children are saying, you know what, I don't want to be on the computer anymore. So the isolation has really become a major collateral damage, I would say, from the pandemic. Isolation was already a problem in the elderly population, but it's a problem now across the board.
We hear people taking a mental health day. The university gave its staff a mental health day. What are we supposed to do on that day? How do we recharge ourselves, take care of our mental health?
I think, and Jermaine, I'm sure you'll speak to this as well, but I'm pretty sure that we all have something that we remember doing at one point that brought us joy, whether it was listening to the radio, whether it was a particular TV show, whether it was writing or painting or trying to crochet or knit. We all had something, and we get through life at a point where we have to be reminded. Don't you remember when you used to like to sit and just listen to music? Don't you remember when you used to have a hard copy book in your hand and you'd like to read it? So it doesn't take, it's not necessarily something monumental. It's something that brings you joy, it brings you peace of mind, allows your body to rest, allows your brain to really have some sense of comfort. And it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be major.
When do we have to seek mental help outside of listening and reading a book, listening to music? Seeking professional help is still a stigma in the Black community.
It is very much a stigma in the Black community and in communities of color, I can say, across the board. I've sat with people from other countries who have shared the same types of horror stories that we may have heard here in the Black community. Many of us may have relatives that people just don't talk about. And it's okay that Uncle Sam never comes out of his room. So when we think about our history, we also have to think about how it has impacted us generationally. And if Uncle Sam never came out of his room, there was a reason for that. And it wasn't that we should be afraid of him. We should really figure out and ask questions. Well, what was it? Did he eat? Did he sleep? Was he always sad? Was he crying? And the reason we want to ask questions is because today there's somebody else in the family that has some similar symptoms that something can be done about. And so again, family history is very significant. Major depression, it can be genetically driven. It's very significant. And if you're depressed, you're not taking your medication the way you're supposed to if you have cardiac issues. If you're depressed, you're not going to your regular doctor's appointments. If you're depressed, you're not sleeping well, or you're sleeping all the time, or you're not eating well, or you're eating all the time. And then there's obesity, and then there's diabetes, there's comorbidity with the depression. So it's an endless cycle if we're not aware of what it is we're doing and feeling. And I applaud the university for the Mental Health Day. It takes some of the stigma off of being able to do that. How many times have we lied calling into work because we need a mental health day and we don't physically feel ill, although physically we don't feel right?
You know, COVID shined a light on disparity in the care, especially among people of color. What role does racism play in our mental health status and our ability to get help, seek help?
There are a number of studies out today in reference to racism's impact on Black people in America specifically. And there's a psychologist, Dr. Moore, who has done a whole anti-racism kind of curriculum to sort of educate us as individuals about how it impacts us. We have a way of living with uncertainty and anxiety because it's what has kept us alive generationally. And so when we think about our mental health and we think about even when we're visiting other cities and states or in unfamiliar territory, how do we look around? How do we survey the territory? Is this a safe environment? How many people are here that look like me? So when we talk about a level of comfort and safety, or a level of hypervigilance, and hypervigilance means you're a little bit more than anxious. It means that you're looking around a whole lot more, trying to focus on where you should be, what you should be doing. Is it okay for me to be here? Is it safe? Who's looking at me like I might get punched in the face? I mean, all of those are realities for us as women. We're looking around to see not only if we're safe from a perspective of being attacked, but are we safe from being accused of something that we, just because we're in a store? So racism in and of itself has created an umbrella of behaviors that fall under depression, anxiety, and trauma. And so when we think about all of that combined, we're thinking about how we even raise our children. I mean, how many of us have to prepare our children when they start driving and what to do when they get pulled over? I mean, that's a reality today that even major vendors like Allstate are offering programs on driving while Black as a teenager. So that acknowledgement at least gives us an opportunity to speak our truth, but it's not enough.
Before we go, I want to talk about some very high-profile suicides that have made the news recently. Actor, director Regina King's only child, her son, and of course, 2019 Miss USA Chesley Christ. We looked at their lives and we thought they had it all. But Chesley's mom said her daughter had high-functioning depression. Doctor, I've never heard that term. Is it a real condition?
Absolutely. It's actually in the DSM-5 as we speak. If it's not there, it's in what they're planning to edit and include. And what we're really talking about now are people that we interact with every day, people we may even live with, that we have no idea the pain that they are struggling with. We have no idea that all of the material things around them actually have no meaning to them. And so when we think about high functioning depression, we're thinking about people like us here on this panel who have really, if you look at us, have pretty significant contributions to life. And we have achieved some goals that we want to achieve in terms of a professional life. But is that enough? And is it something that we're in touch with in terms of our emotional well-being? And when we talk about suicide and the families who struggle with suicide and the anger that comes from that, we're not really being clear and mindful of what we can do, number one, to intervene before it gets to that place. That's because we need to hear each other. We need to acknowledge each other. That loneliness that happens, that neighbor that never gets any visitors, if you're in the house by yourself all the time, if you haven't spoken to someone other than yourself in your own head, something is wrong with that. It's not okay for multiple days at a time. But when we talk about major depression, we're talking about a pain that has no description. It has no description. And I've sat with a number of people who are suicidal and have plans. And if you ask them, they will tell you. And it gives you an opportunity to stop them. It's never about being dead. It's about ending the pain. And that's what they'll tell you.
All right, we'll move on to self-care and hopefully self-love. It's so sad with what we heard with Chesley, and locally, the mayor of Hyattsville, who also took his own life. The two of them were advocates for mental health. And I guess before we move on, how do we spot and how do we help those we think are strong?
Checking in every day, if necessary, from time to time. High functioning people typically have, and I'm sure the Miss America, Miss America?
Miss USA.
Miss USA had a very packed agenda. That's not okay. When there's no room in your agenda to sit and just be, when there's no room in your agenda to connect with people who care about you, when you are always moving and doing, that's not okay. And what we as loved ones, as friends, as neighbors, just as people who care about other people, it's our responsibility to say, you know what, I see you. I see you not sitting down. I see you not taking time for yourself. I see you not doing the things you usually do that bring you joy or pleasure. What's going on? Talk to me. There are stories, horror stories about people who have survived suicide who said, all I needed was somebody to ask me if I was okay. And so we can do that. We can call a friend. We can ask about how you're doing. We can ask, when's the last time you went out to eat, or can we order something and maybe eat it together on Zoom? Something that says that I see you, that I hear you, and I'm checking in with you.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, go ahead, please.
She's saying it's very important that we think about how powerful stress is.
Yes.
There's an entity called stress cardiomyopathy, and it's generally found in women, and particularly young women, where you come in with all the symptoms of a heart attack. And it's called Takotsubo's cardiomyopathy or stress-induced cardiomyopathy. Call it Takotsubo because that's the shape of an octopus pot. So they come in and that heart just balloons out at the tip. It looks like a pot almost. You take them to the cath lab. They have all the signs, symptoms of a heart attack. The heart enzymes go up, and you take a picture of those arteries and they're completely clean. They don't have blocked arteries. They don't have plaque. But one of the theories is that that stress has caused so much cortisol and adrenaline that causes those arteries to spasm and cause an actual heart attack. They recover, but that's a real thing that is prevalent, that's seen in young women that have come under some major stressful situation. There's also something called epigenetics. And as I'm listening to Dr. Cooper Lucas talk about all the things that we are impacted by, environment changes our genes. So we know what we've been under, since we've been in this country and how that's modified our genes. And that's a true thing. All you have to do is think about something that happened to you 30 years ago, and that sets up the whole chain of events that produces your cortisol right away. And it takes you right back to that time, that whether you were molested, whether you had something, you saw a murder in your neighborhood, and sets up that whole pathway. So stress is important. The American Heart Association actually has a new initiative for Go Red for Women. It's called Reclaiming Your Rhythm. And 5 of the bullet points talk about something that Dr. Cooper Lucas talked about. One is mellow out and decrease stress. The other is move to music. If you want to do some exercise, put some music that you love to get you motivated to do that. The third was feed your soul and rock your recipes. We aren't doing those things. We're not sitting down to eat dinner with our family members or someone we love or someone that we even like. We're eating on the fly. We're stressed out. The last two that go under that reclaiming your rhythm, stay on beat with your blood pressure. Keep the beat and learn hands-only CPR. But 3 of those 5 things relate to stress and getting back to those things that Dr. Cooper Lucas said that we've gotten away from.
Thank you for that. We want to go to Jermaine to give us some ideas, traditional and non-traditional ways of showing ourselves some self-love through our self-care. Jermaine, after what you've heard being said this evening and what you've said earlier in the day, how do we do this? How do we show self-love in this year of 2022? Self-care is the theme.
Wow. First of all, I so appreciate being a part of this panel again. And I have just been touched by all of what's been said. And, you know, I get the privilege every day to help men and women implement self-care and self-love practices. And when we think traditionally of self-care, we think of the massage and the facials and the pedicures. But, you know, this year I kind of decided that I want to expand that awareness. You know, I have kind of like 5 pillars of expanded self-care this year that I really want to, you know, help people embrace. We've talked about the physical, eating right, knowing your numbers, managing your blood pressure and your blood sugar, you know, yes, implementing massages, which are very stress reducing. We've talked about with, you know, Dr. Lucas, the emotional and the mental self-care, having a tribe of people around you that you can feel comfortable, you know, helping you navigate through crisis. And the spiritual, a lot of us, pandemic has forced us to, you know, somewhat abandon and also restrict some of our spiritual practices, the communion of going to church or the mosque. But, you know, we are spirit, mind, and body in that order. And having a spiritual practice every day, whether it's meditation, whether it's, you know, prayer, is so important to nurture our soul. And another, you know, pillar that I don't really think that we think about, but has been really prominent is financial self-care. You know, money and the stress of money can be very stressful and create a lot of anxiety. And with the pandemic, with businesses closing and downsizing, we have the great resignation, people leaving their jobs, and, you know, maybe the death of a spouse or a significant other that was a contributing, you know, member to our, you know, our financial, you know, part of our family has impacted us, you know, and that creates stress. And one of the things, you know, with financial self-care, I tell people, maybe this is the year that you might need a financial advisor. Maybe you need to, you know, kind of look at your financial landscape and see how you can maybe reduce debt, because debt can be quite stressful. Maybe having an additional source of income, you know, might help relieve some of that stress. And then, you know, what I love what Dr. Lucas said is the last pillar I have is communal and social self-care. You know, the isolation, not being able to see our family and friends, you know, has created a lot of anxiety and depression. And I mean, just today, one of my clients, I haven't seen her in almost 3 years. She came in and she was like, wow, I kind of feel comfortable now, but I'm still really scared about going out. And one of the things I tell people when we look at communal self-care, do what feels right to you. Right? You know, if you were a part of a larger organization and you were very active, whether it's a sorority or the Links or something, and you were used to going to the, you know, the conferences, maybe you want to participate in the smaller community meetings, or, you know, or maybe get more active virtually, or like Dr. Lucas and Dr. Robinson said, maybe just having a small, you know, brunch or lunch with somebody and just telling them, hey, I still feel a little hesitant coming out. You know, can you work with me? You know, so all of these are a part of our self-care moving forward. I hate the word new normal, but you know, it kind of is. It's like, how do we look at those pillars of self-care and implement it? But more importantly, self-care is a priority. It has to be a priority. We have to nurture self, not only for our own well-being, but, as women of color, we have that S on our chest, and we're mom, caregiver, superhero. We have to have these practices so that our cup is full, that we can pour out.
I'm getting a wrap from our producers. This discussion has been fabulous, but we do want our audience to get in with a couple of questions for you, just a few. And if you could make your responses brief. Thank you very much. Here's our first question from the audience. How can I lessen my chances of heart disease? Currently, both my mother and I have high cholesterol, and unfortunately, heart disease runs in my family, where the beloved women such as my grandmother, great-grandmother, and great-aunts all died from it. Dr. Robinson?
I always like to start out with TLC, right? You can call it tender loving care or total lifestyle change. So it's about everything that we discussed on this panel, total lifestyle change. You can't do one thing without the other, whether it's fitness, exercise, meditation, stress, and being your best advocate. If you have that family history, go get a cardiovascular screening to check on your risk factor profile.
It's hard to talk to a doctor. How do we talk to a doctor?
Talk to them like they're your best friend. Or talk to them like that you're going into it. You wouldn't, I always tell people, you're going to a business and you wouldn't allow them to treat you any particular way because you would go somewhere else. So this is your life. You got one chance. They have to treat you with respect. If they don't, try to find another doctor.
Yeah. That's
Andrea, can I answer that one?
Please.
To me, health equity means the doctor treats you like how they would treat their family.
Mm-hmm.
So when the doctor says, gives you here are your treatment options or whatever, well, what would you do for my mother, your mother? What would you do for your daughter?
Right.
And demand the care that they would give to their family. And it's okay to ask for that.
Very good advice. The next question is, how does peripheral artery disease affect the heart? What are the symptoms? How can we prevent it? And how does potassium play a role with the heart?
Well, peripheral vascular disease, you would hear people saying, oh, I have poor circulation, but we're going to use PAD or peripheral arterial disease. Think of a tree. I like using analogies. The leg arteries are the roots of the tree. The trunk is the main artery called the aorta, where all the branches come off. The branches are the arteries that go to the heart and to the brain. So the roots are your legs. So the biggest risk factors for peripheral arterial disease are diabetes, and most people don't know, smoking. I share my own story. My sister just had her leg amputated from smoking.
Really?
Some of the symptoms you have, you're walking. It's usually, they can tell you right away, I walk a block and my leg get heavy or my calf starts to cramp. And it goes away after 5, 10, 15 minutes after I rest. So if that ever happens, then you certainly need to go get that checked out. If you have diabetes and a smoker, when you go into your doctor's office, take your shoes and socks off. Make them feel your pulses. Make them look at your feet.
Good advice, Doctor. Thank you. I hadn't thought about that. Our final question from the audience. How do you help someone you know is suffering depression from COVID isolation and having lost loved ones if you can't really connect with them? And what are some ways to help with consistency? I start and then I end up falling back into my bad habits of not exercising, poor eating, bad sleeping, just not making myself a priority. Dr. Lucas Cooper, how about that?
Well, there are a number of ways to reach out to people, and it's not just a singular event. If you feel that you are connected with someone who really needs some community support, you can gather that community. Now, we haven't been able to go to our religious institutions, a lot of us. And I spoke to someone today who told me she felt guilty because she was cheating on her church because she was listening to stuff from other churches, which she found to be very helpful. But the point of it that she made was that she had also met people online at these other churches. And so one of the things that a friend of mine did was he actually bought his mother a small laptop and taught her how to FaceTime with a friend of hers, which he also got a small laptop for her. I'm not suggesting that anything has to be that expensive, but most of us have cell phones. And so checking in with somebody, just calling them and hearing your voice, and they may not want to talk to you, that's okay. But checking in with them regularly when they can expect you to do that. And you don't have to do that by yourself. You can gather other friends and say, we really need to reach out to so-and-so. Let's do it on a schedule. Let's see when one of us might be able to just drop by with a meal. Let's see if one of us could just drop by with some new music or a book or something. It doesn't have to be that complicated, but it does need to be more organized so that you know and you can depend on people reaching out at a certain time and being able to really check in with each other saying, well, you know, I knocked on the door, I called, I didn't get any answer from her. I think we really need to bring family members into this because, you know, we want to make sure that this person is safe and really creating a safety plan in reference to all of that as well.
All right, I'm getting a wrap. Good, Reverend Gail, you have something to add? I think you're muted. There we go.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on two things real briefly. Dr. Robinson was saying about the lifestyle changes. One of the things I know, even if you haven't, you can do small things, monitoring your soda, sugar intake, or whatever. And I learned, though I'm not a diabetic, I took the classes on how to eat as a diabetic to also help to reduce my risk factors because it runs in my family. As you mentioned, I am a reverend. I've been in ministry 25 years, and nobody believes God is a healer more than I am. But if you've been diagnosed with hypertension, high cholesterol, take your medicine until you are healed.
That's right. Very good. All right. That's the end of our panel discussion and Q&A with the audience. But right now, usually I end each of these sessions with 30 seconds from each of the panel members with some closing thoughts. I'm going to give you a little time to think about that. We're going to look at the chat and we're going to let people know who the winners are for the MELE skincare from the MELE Red Dress photo booth. They're going to be in the chat. And I hope you've thought about what you're going to say because I'm going to start with you, Ricky Fairley. 30 seconds to give some parting words. Some parting words to our audience.
Check the breasts that you love. I know you have a pair. And remember that your peace is non-negotiable. Find your peace. It is non-negotiable. Don't wait till you get sick to find your peace.
I like it. Jermaine Williams, 30 seconds, the last thoughts.
Self-care is a priority. Make it a priority. More importantly, it's self-love.
All right, the self-love. I love it. Dr. Hampton?
Yes, I think we have to be our own best advocates. You know, as women, we're discriminating when we go to that shoe store, when we go and buy that fruit in the store, when we go buy that new dress. You should be just as discriminating when you go to your doctor's offices and with your own health. We've only got one life to live, ladies. And so let's make the best of it. Listen to that little voice that's tapping you on the shoulder to say, girl, go get that thing checked out. Or girl, you know you're short of breath. Listen to that voice and call your doctor.
Dr. Hebert, calling you.
Yeah, I have 5 things you're going to hear. I need you to decrease the amount of alcohol you drink, increase the amount of water that you drink. I need you to remove as much stress as you can for your life. I need you to change your toothbrush. Some of y'all have had the same toothbrush since Soul Train went off. Change your toothbrush and brush your teeth twice a day. Eat 5 to 7 fruits and vegetables a day and decrease your risk for cancer. And the one that everybody hates, I need everybody on this panel to lose 15 pounds. Everybody hates it. You need to lose 15 pounds. And that's just the way it is. Me too. Everybody needs to
lose the weight and get that new toothbrush. Thank you very much. That's good advice. Dr. Robinson?
Everyone on this call has a favorite gas station, and they won't put just any gas in their car. If they have these fancy Mercedes or whatever, they're going to put the highest octane. They never stop and put the diesel in that car. treat your body as your Bentley. You never stop to think about what goes in your car, but without your body, none of this other stuff really matters. You can't go to Advanced Auto Part and get that new heart, that new kidney, that new brain, that new foot. Treat your body as your Bentley.
I like that. And winding it all up for us, Dr. Cooper Lucas.
Emotional pain is real. We are not superhuman. We are women, just like white women, just like Asian women. We do not have S's on our chest. We do suffer, and we need to acknowledge the fact that in pain, we need to take the time to address the pain.
Thank you very much. This has been a wonderful panel discussion. I've enjoyed hearing from you, and I know our audience has, and they've learned so much. Please, audience, give our panelists a virtual applause. And now make sure that you focus on heart healthy, you and me too, in 2022. We know what to do. We know to do the right thing. And remember two things: lose the weight and get the new toothbrush. That's going to be the takeaway from this evening. Panel members, thank you very, very much. That was a special part of, you're welcome. That was a special part of our program. The next part of the program are our grand prize winners. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that. They registered for the red dress, and their questions were selected and answered. Prizes, you won't believe what you're going to hear. Here we go. Prize number one, our silver grand prize package has over has over $1,000. It's not that grand. Has over $1,000 worth of prizes and gifts. Our winner is Letitia Warren. You are the winner of our self-care silver package, which includes standby, a Visa gift card worth $150, 30-minute image or wardrobe consult from celebrity stylists and brand experts, Michelle Lopez of ShayLopezCloset.com. Spa package from Paris Alexander Day Spa. That's a Swedish massage plus a French facial. 3 virtual class passes at the Stretch Room. African American Music Museum merchandise from Music City in Nashville, Tennessee. And a signed copy of the book, Optimists Always Win, Moving from Defeat to Life's C-Suite by award-winning author Kim Reed. Congratulations to you, Letitia. Our second grand prize, this is a doozy. The gold prize package has over $2,000 worth of prizes. Donna Brown of Bladensburg, Maryland, you are the winner of our self-care gold package, which includes a gift card worth $150, a 30-minute image or wardrobe consult from celebrity stylist and brand expert Michelle Lopez of ShayLopez. It's in the program journal. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's Michelle Lopez. From Cultura, the first FDA-approved cellulite treatment. The value of this alone is $1,100. A spa gift bag from Cultura, Forever Treasure Boutique, Fabulous Swing Cake, and Dr. Denise Bruner product-friendly package worth $250. And our big grand prize winner, the Platinum Prize package, has over $3,000 worth of gifts and prizes in it. And that is going to Roberta McPherson of Silver Spring, Maryland. Congratulations, Roberta. You are the winner of our Self-Care Platinum Signature Package, which includes prestige services from Cultura Dermatology, Laser Center and Plastic Surgery in Washington, D.C., a Visa gift card worth $150, a spa gift bag plus 3 sessions of Morpheus 8 that will tighten, tone, and rejuvenate your face, neck, and jawline. This will take away some of the stress that we've been talking about. It sounds like a really good package. Congratulations to all of our grand prize winners. And I can see in the chat, Dr. Kelly Bolden, these gifts are incredible. We thank you very much. As Chairwoman mentioned, Dr. Bolden is a plastic surgeon at Cultura Dermatology and Plastic Surgery and a member of the Arlington Links chapter of the Links Incorporated. And again, a very special heartfelt thank you to all of the business partners that donated our red dress giveaways. Please check them out in the electronic program journal business directory and also check out their ads. As Michelle Bailey told us earlier, we encourage you to support these businesses that make investing in our community and in you a priority. Now, you've been such an amazing audience, but there are more prizes to be had. Red Dress just doesn't stop today. We have culinary and conversation presented by gold sponsor Monarch Magazine. That's taking place Saturday, February 5th with celebrity vegan chef Cynthia Pean, featuring Simone Sanders. That's tomorrow, February 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will close Red Dress Weekend with heart-filled worship and praise virtually at Metropolitan AME Church in Washington, D.C. That's taking place at 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. The Reverend William H. Lamar is the pastor. And check the live chat for all the details. Now, I know everyone has signed the MELE petition, and check out the MELE retail deal that starts Sunday. The information is also in the e-program journal that you'll take with you. It's been a wonderful evening. I've enjoyed spending my time with you, but now let's welcome Mary E. Clark. She is the National Heartlink's Chair and the National Walk for Healthy Living Chair for the Links Incorporated, and a proud member of the Reston, Virginia chapter of the Links. Mary, hello, how are you?
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. In keeping with what we have heard tonight about what we can do to improve our health, the Heartlinks and Walk for Healthy Living national signature programs of the Links Incorporated continues to promote self-care with a focus on walking because of the scientific evidence that supports the importance of walking as a way to improve our cardiovascular health. It's a known fact that high blood pressure increases the risk of heart disease. So it stands to reason that if you lower your blood pressure, you can lower your risk of heart disease. One of the many ways we can all reduce our blood pressure is to walk. That is why our national president, Dr. Kimberly Jeffries Leonard, has challenged members of the Links Incorporated to walk at least 5,000 steps each day with a goal of 75 billion steps by June 2022. Music makes walking easier, and it keeps you going when you feel like stopping. So in celebration of Heart Month this year, the Links Incorporated has created a playlist of amazing walking songs to keep you motivated and to carry you through your walk or whatever other physical activity you participate in. Stay tuned. You will hear more about this activity. And lastly, I want to remind you to join us during Heart Month to spread awareness about heart disease and post on social media. You've been given the hashtags. Post activities every day during February. And now we will hear from Dr. Nicolette Martin.
Good evening, everyone. Hasn't this been an amazing night? As always, for the past 14 years, we've tried to bring you the most up-to-date and comprehensive medical information. And dare I say, we've done it again. Thank you so much to all our speakers for your time and your talent. Thank you to our sponsors, for without them, we'd never be able to continue on this amazing journey and expand our reach. A special thanks to our Red Dress Planning Committee. This year, we had 14 chapters participate for 14 years, and they were led by our event chair, Michelle Bailey. Another thanks goes out to our wonderful Mistress of Ceremonies, Jumi Olabanji, and our moderator, Andrea Rohn. Thank you for keeping us on task, for keeping us on time, and for keeping us on point. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a very difficult thing to do. And last but not least, thank you so much to all of you, our audience, who has supported us for the last 14 years. I hope we've been able to give you at least some information to help change your health and change your life. So now I'll leave you with this. In 2022, we can't wait to see a heart healthier you. Thank you and good night.